Hi everyone, very good morning. Welcome back to day 27, ITOM batch 2. How are you doing good guys today?
Good, Ajay.
Good to hear. Thank you. So before proceeding to the next things, I just want to hear from you. Do you have any questions, any doubt, anything which you want to be discussed from the previous sessions? Because we are going to be start a new session today for CSDM, which is more theoretical, not practical, and you have to bear me on that to get more insight about it, right? Because that is not my favorite part, but still, while we are working in on ServiceNow side, that is one of the most important part to implement the data model in any organization, right? So before proceeding to that, I just want to hear anything, any questions, any doubt, any suggestions you want to be give. If you think I left something, so I can cover in the next sessions as well.
I'm good from my side, Ajay.
Sure, thank you. Okay,
Me
I
too.
think,
Okay.
sorry, come again, Arati.
Yeah, me too. I'm good for now.
Okay, sure, thank you. So I think let's get started on the CSDM side now. So let me share my screen, and once my screen is visible, let me know. So we are going to be start the CSDM, and I'm referring the 4.0 now. Anyone understand what is CSDM?
So, what I know, it's a framework, right? Just like any other framework, it's just a framework that defines the overall structure of how things should be, and you try to fit into that framework, is my understanding.
Right. So, pupils says and resource says ki that is a module in service now, and you can install or you can configure like other modules we are doing. No, that what I understand basically from the CSDM is common service data model is a framework like other frameworks. We have, ITIL framework, we have SAFe framework, we have Agile framework, right? Which help us to give more understanding about how we can consume, use the data in ServiceNow for the better reporting purpose. That I understand from the CSDM. And as I already mentioned, everything here it's theoretical. We just need to understand what is the use of it, what sorry, how we can implement that one in specific to specific customer. Also, one more thing I just want to add here, implementing CSDM is easy, right? You can implement once you have the data, once you have the visibility, but consulting the CSDM is tough. Basically, you have to sit with the stakeholders, customers to understand their data, and then you have to be implemented in different way there, right? So let's start with that. Basically, so as I already, I'm referring the white paper of the service now. So common service data model represents a standard and shared set of service related definition across platform, product and platform that will enable supports true service level reporting. So as I mentioned already, it's a shared set of services which help us to improve in true service level reporting. Earlier, what is happening? If you are raising or reaching or anyone raise an incident, you are able to find out the incident raised on the particular CI because configuration item is part of it, right? But if I just want to see which service is impacted, that is business service or application service or technical service, because end of the day, I got to know or I need to understand which service is impacted and how my business is impacted due to that, right? So that service, common service data model will help me to give more visibility while we are doing the correct configurations with the correct tables, with the correct relationships, right? And we'll definitely going to be discuss the 4 or 5 steps which is required, why, when we required, and how we can do that, right? Again, as I mentioned, data model is a CMDB framework across our product and platform that will enable support multiple configuration strategies. It includes best practices related to proper modeling of data using out-of-the-box table and relationships. Again, CSDM is never suggest or never says कि we should configure or install or create a new custom tables and custom relationships. It's always, whatever available we have, let's try to fit those particular things somewhere and use that particular, out of the box tables and relationships to give the correct report, give the visibility to the customer what how that is working. And as you know, many ServiceNow product have a dependency on the data within this data model. So if my CSDM data model is not looks good, or if I'm not using the correct relationships, if my foundation data is not correct, right? Definitely, my things will not working in that proper way. The same way, if I'm taking an example here of ITOM implementations, right? When you're going to be implement, if you are not looking for, not understanding how many data centers of customer have, how many mid servers you need to be placed it, you don't know about the CMDB data model or the CI data model which required by the customer, where you're not going to be put mandatory, non-mandatory, or required attributes, right? There is no use of that implementation, right? The same way here in the CSDM data model, we are going to be discuss, we are going to be, think about how that can be a useful for a customer. Now, the that particular common service data model, consists of the two things: common service and a data model. Common service is standard and shared set of service related definition across our product and platform which enable support true service level reporting. As I mentioned already, you say, I'm repeating again and again, but the end goal of this particular CSDM data model is to give the visibility to customer about their services and reporting, which is earlier not possible, right? And the second word is data model. Data model is CSDM framework, CMDB framework across the product and platform which enable and support multiple configuration strategies. Right. So data model basically, if as I mentioned on the CMDB data model, if that is not correct, my CMDB is not looks good. The same way, if I'm working on any incident or anything, any configuration, if my users is not correct, my location is not correct, right? I cannot implement, the data is not correct, data model is not correct in the backend. So I cannot, that incidents and the changes, whatever I'm going to be configured, there's no use of it, right? So data must be required correct, and everything in the CSDM is on data only. If it can be services data, it can be location data, it can be technical data, but the main thing, how we are getting the data, how we are going to manage the data using the different things like life cycle management of the things, or managing of that particular data, how the data is going to be ingested. It should not be duplicate, it should be unique, right? So that all things we are going to be discuss in the CSDM basically. Right. The scope of CSDM will continuously be extended to include more prescriptive guidance in the use of the data model. Right. So as I mentioned, ServiceNow is also going to be mentioned the same thing. CSDM is not a product, as I already mentioned, right, or SKU from ServiceNow. The guidance within the CMDB for the standardization and modeling of that CMDB used to multiple ServiceNow product. CSDM is not a process or implementation guide for ServiceNow products. A set of reports. It's not a set of reports. It's not a code to install on it. It's not an automatic fix for the past implementation. It's just a framework where we are understanding based on the customer to customer, and it can be varies, right? So as I already given example of ITIL, what do you understand from the ITIL framework? Any idea, guys? When we
I
are
mean,
talking about ITIL, I think there are ITL version 3 or version 4 certifications also there, right? What do you understand with that?
that talks about the maintenance and how the the what do you call infrastructure, and how do you handle errors and all should work, I guess.
Right. And it just give you like, in simple words, if I say, it give you the standard procedure that how the incident will be flow. Like if I have an incident, I will be raising. So these are the common attribute required an incident, like who raises, what is the issue and all, right? Then how from raises to it should go to which stage or which state, right? Then once it's going to in progress, then what will be that solutions we have provided, if it is in on hold or whatever, right? So that ITL guides us. ITL give that visibility, that will be the process. If ITL is not there, we don't know, right? We are going to be configured based on that. We are not sure about, we need to be put work in progress or something else. But again, it also varies customer to customer requirement. If I'm working on IT environment or IT customer, okay, so I will put definitely like work in progress or other things, right? But if I'm working for any other healthcare customer, any manufacturing customers, might be they not required incidents. Example, if that not related to IT, that not required incident, they are giving the services, health services to the different stakeholders or customers or partners. So it might be they are working on the request catalog items, we have to be configured in different way, right? Might be they are working on different things. So that ITIL is giving that informations to us, and we got to know like what is the start. And as you know, every time everything is evolving, right? Currently, as you already knows, the CSDM version 5 is already introduced by ServiceNow, right? In this release, we are discussing on CSDM 4.0 because if you understand that one, they are evolving, they are adding some new classes, they are adding some new practices, a new framework that is also good for your organization, because they are also learning from our customers itself as well, based on their requirements, based on the customer is complaining like that is not working, then they think like this should be part of the common service data model. And this is not, this is just introduced. That common service data model is working or running from the long time, but earlier customers and we don't have that much visibility on that. And it started from 1.0 and now we reached to 4.0 in last couple of years, after evolution or after evolving the couple of things, introducing the new tables and new other things, right? So this is we are. Now if I go scroll down, yeah. So do I need to purchase a module or product to CSDM? No. So ServiceNow provides all object and CMDB code table documented in CSDM as a part of shipping out of the box data model, regardless of licensing, right? That below figure is helping me out to understand more related to that. I hope it's visible, right? If I can zoom it a little bit more, right? Yeah. So it's out of the box. We don't require to be purchase any product for that. It's coming out of the box if we are purchasing an incident, if we are purchasing ITOM, subscriptions, whatever, regardless of licensing of it, right? Now, from where it started with Kingston, right? So Kingston CSDM out of the box, what we have two things, business capabilities and the business application, right? Then they added application services in the London CSDM. In the Madrid, that they introduced CSDM 1.0 white paper, right? So basically, actually that these business capabilities, application and application services club, and they have put somewhere related to based on the relationships and all, and they released in the London CSDM, and they mentioned or they given the name example, they have given the name Now we have introduced CSDM 1.0, which help you to guys, right? Then New York, we have Service Portfolio Management Reborn, CSDM 2.0 white paper released. Orlando, we have they have given the views based on the products, basically incident change, APM, SPM, and CMDB, CSDM foundations, and other souls and install based products, right? Then Paris, they did little bit more and they released 3.0 white paper, and they have now released technical service tables, dynamic CI grouping, which we already discussed, right? Query builder, application service creations, business application onboarding, service offering for catalog and item enhancements, right? So every, day by day, they are revolving or involving the new things based on the customer requirement, and they are putting as a framework that must be required. And if I, let's take an example, we are stop on the 5.0. If last after 20 years we are looking for that, and our peers or our colleague, when they are working on the CSDM, they got to know like this is the framework, this is the issues which is faced by the earlier resources, and that's why they designed that particular framework which is required to be implement anything, right? Then we have Cubic, and in the Cubic, they are managing the data managed by group, support group, change group, right? Dynamic UI CI groups within the change they introduce. Roam, they have expanded, introduced SLDC component and the build domain basically. Service portfolio table, they have released it, right? Which can be utilized by the technical services, dedicated business services table extend from the same DBCS service. They have introduced location management, they have introduced life cycle management, right? Because end of the day, for CSDM or any other implementation which I feel, and the foundation data must be up to date. If my foundation data is not correct, right, I cannot achieve, that will help, that will give the incorrect reporting to me, that will not giving the correct visibility to it on it, right? And if I give an example of foundation data as well related to item specific, if my CMDB is not up to date, if my CMDB on the CI record, the managed by, owned by, approval group, location is not correct, there is no use of using in the incidents, there is no use of using in the problem or the change. Because end of the day, incident, if we are putting a configuration item on the incident, that will help me to visibility, who is the support group, who is the owner of it, and I can immediately reach out to that, and they can work on it, right, to resolve that particular issue. But if it is not correct, then there is no use of it. And if I'm working on incident, and the location, department, and example users, if that data is not correct, there is no use of using the incidents module as well, right? So the base of CSDM, which I understand from that particular whiteboard, which I read from last couple of days and earlier as well, the foundation data should be correct. If foundation data is not correct, we cannot define, we cannot implement CSDM.
Ajay, I have a question over here when you
Yes.
talk about foundation data, right? Now,
Hmm.
any module that you take, right? And
Hmm.
ServiceNow says, hey, you know what, do everything out of the box. Don't customization is against. If you want to do low code, no code, right? Now, in
Hmm.
that case, every module has set tables like be it task table, incident table, or whatever, right?
Right.
When it's already provided, what is this? Why do we need CSDM? I mean, it's ServiceNow has already provided the base and they have done it, and they're saying don't customize it too much. So I want to understand
The
how
use
do you.
case of the CSDM, right? And in
Uh,
next part, we are going to be discuss that one. But let me in simple words, if I give you the response of why we need CSDM, the simple thing, we need CSDM for reporting, right? Tell me now, let me give you a scenario. You have incident, Okay, let's go to Kingston release. You are raising incident and you are choosing the configuration item. Do you able to see which business service is impacted due to that? Do you able to see which business capability is impacted to that? Do you able to understand which application service and business service or technical service is impacted to that? Are you able to get that report?
Only when you do service mapping, maybe.
No. Within in service mapping as well, not.
Okay.
Right. Service mapping is not for the reporting. Service mapping is just to give you that visibility where is the impact. But I just want to in reporting side. Are you able to configure that report? Are you able to get that report from ServiceNow? No. Basically, you are only able to get the report on incident specific. You are able to run report on the task table, like related to SLA, related to configuration item, right? But not specific to services, not specific to business applications. And earlier, if I will let me correct you, there is no there is no table called CMDB CI Business App. When we when I started before Kingston, there is no application, but customer ask us, Ajay, I need to be manage my business application somewhere. We created a custom table for that. Right. Earlier there is no the table for dynamic CI groupings, right? Now if like dynamic CI grouping or CMDB groups, if you have Excel, you have a report or you have a data in it, you can do group by, or you can see some things which is common, which is based on the name and all, right? That is not available earlier in service now. So they introduce CMDB groups where we can, you can group the CIs based on a specific region, based on a specific, a support group, based on specific class. That is earlier not there. Query builder is not there where you can, club. I think you are not part of that session, but in the query builder, we can club two different tables, and we can run report on it. That is not there. If that is not there, if the relationship is not there, we cannot get more visibility or more reporting on that side. In your terms, I just ask you, if you are going to implement something on the customer, what customer is more interested to hear from you?
uh, you know, Things to work the way they want.
Right. And
um, uh, Less cost and reporting.
right. So if we are discussing on the top management like VP or SVP, they don't worried about what is running in the behind. They worried about what the visualization I can show to my management, what we are achieving, how we are reducing the cost, how we are reducing the impact on my businesses. End of the day, they are required on that one, right? They are not worried about how ServiceNow is configured, how data we have ingested into ServiceNow, how business service or application service correlated to each other, right? They are not worried about. They are only worried about how we are able to visualize to our management what we achieved. This is the impact. This is not that we are not get into it, and right, all other things. So that's why CSDM comes in the picture. In the next slide, I think we have a couple of things here. We'll discuss on that one as well. How did we get here? In early 2017, a group of representatives from various business units within ServiceNow were tasked with defining service and identifying how service reporting could be improved. Representative from ITCM, ITOM, ITBM, and other were present. After identifying the need for common definition and prospective CMDB data model, the collaborative between ServiceNow and product teams was born as a CSDM. Right. So they identify the need of the data model because how they can improve the service reporting. Getting my point? I think it's helping you to understand better. Or still you have question, you can ask it, no worries.
I'm still not following, Ajay.
Sorry. So you're
I'm
not
still not
following.
following. Yeah.
Okay. So where is the confusion? Tell me.
Um, can you maybe give an example of how you have used CSDM in one of your projects? Maybe that, practical example will probably make it easier.
Definitely, definitely. If I give you the practical example right now, you are not able to get it. Let me have something for you. Just one moment. I think, yeah, this one. I hope it's visible, right? So here, it just a ServiceNow platform example. Here, one is my business service is onboarding, right? The business service, that first of all, how the things will be starting, right? Portfolio. Portfolio, we have human resource. Under portfolio, we have portfolio category, new employee. And under new employee category, portfolio category, we have business service, onboarding. Now, just in simple words, if I say, if my business service is somehow it's working on some systems, it just not like it's a logical component business service now, but end of the day, that is running that application related to my on that app or the URL somewhere running on the data center on any app, a data infrastructure, basically in simple words, right? If my infrastructure is impacted, but I don't have a visibility that my business service onboarding is impacted, right? If if I had not populate the correct relationships within ServiceNow related to my infrastructure to that particular business service, I am not able to get more visibility on it. So in that case, we have to be designed like, a business services, business capabilities, right? Then we have to be design basically technical, managed technical services and other things. And then we have to be also design the foundation data, like how the foundation data will be populated related to like, in simple words, if I say related to users, groups, locations, departments, companies, in an organization, there are lots of vendors working, right? So we have to manage those particular vendors. That particular vendor belongs to that company, that department. Right? So when we are onboarding, we are looking for that information. Correct me if I'm wrong or you're following me now, right? So business service providing that business capabilities, uh, like that as that there is one business application which is SNHR, and there is one business application which is SN change, and which one business application is SN mid server. And there are two, like one is IT business capability human resource management, and one is IT service management. And if that is related to basically business, that business application is service now. Here business service is onboarding, business application is service now. If my that application is impacted, how my onboarding will be working properly? Arati, are you catching it?
Kind of.
Okay. Okay, so I will, I have a couple of examples as well, but what I want to do here, basically, first of all, let's clear the basics of that, and then I think you will get understanding more on it, right? What is that particular that example showcasing? There are four things: manage, technical, design, consumes, and foundation, right? So how that each things is correlated to each other. Now let me ask you in different way to you. Okay, let me ask you in that way, like you are implementing discovery. Okay, you are configured the discovery schedules, the CMDB is presenting. What is the end goal of implementing the discovery? Why customer is asking for implementing the discovery?
Identify all the infrastructure components that are present.
Okay, that is one thing. What is the business use case for the customer?
Visibility.
What about other?
How it would, I mean, impact to the business if.
Yes, right. So till that time you implemented discovery, but till that time you don't know how it will useful for my customers. You cannot think about that side. But when I'm going to be, discuss or implementing the discovery, I'm trying to understand the pain point of the customer. Like now customer have different data sources, right? So we can integrate with ServiceNow using Service Graph Connector, REST API, or out of the box ServiceNow discovery. The one pain point is resolved. Second, customer have lots of incidents coming, but they don't have the visibility around it, like which CI is going to be impacted and what is the owner of it, who is the application owner, support group, and all it, right? So I will more focus on that found logic sorry non-discoverable attribute part, because customer is more looking for that thing, right? The third thing, he wants to be give more visibility to management or all stakeholders in their organization. That is that count of my CIS, that is the Windows server, that is Linux servers, that is network, and these particular things support by these particular resources, these particular groups, right? And we have everything available within the CMDB. After discovery or integrations, like these are the attribute information on it. We can easily find out where the running process is running. We can easily find out what softwares is running. If I go a little bit deeper, if we find out what softwares is running, we can go to for software asset management, and we can understand which software is licensed or not, whatever the freeware software is using by different user. Like if you get a laptop from your organizations, you have couple of restrictions. You can install, you cannot install every application on a laptop, right? So if you're installing, they can also track it from CMDB, like use configuring the compliance health dashboard, if someone is going to be installed that particular software which is not allowed in our organizations. So end of the day, they are getting more visibility. End of the day, they are saving the business cost, right? But if that all things not happening in the discovery, and if I give you uh you're not doing discovery, I just give you the Excel sheet and upload in the CMDB, how it's useful for you? Is this useful? Because Excel, so they're only managing in manually in the Excel sheets. If I just migrating from Excel to ServiceNow, how it's not useful, right? Because we don't have relationships, we don't have more visibility on the running processes, or that that software installed, or IPs, or hard disk, and other things, right? We don't have it. If we have it, then I think we can better install, configure the event management in the service mapping. And if that complete package is, working on the customer, definitely we can achieve, or we can reduce down. Let me give an example. I think you will correlate in that case. I will not tell the client name here. I'm working for a client for approx 2 years to implement the complete ITOM. Before that, I was part of that particular client itself in NOC team, right? You can't believe we are getting 50 incidents per month. If that, or sometimes the incident, time period is approx 2 hours or 3 hours, and that particular incident directly impacting my business, the client's application, which is used by the globally by end users. If that application is not working, definitely that client have business loss that particular time. Now if you see, we are getting 50 incidents per month, means 2 incidents each day, and my service is not working for 2 hours or 4 hours. How I am losing, right? Because what is the issue? Because everything is manual earlier. They don't have the visibility on their CMDBs. They don't have the which person is supporting what, and the event management and other things is completely manual. Sometimes NOC team is forget to raise incidents. We are not 30 minutes for first 30 minutes or 1 hour only we are spending to find out which team we need to be required to on that particular incident management call, right? 1 hour we just finding out how or which team we need to reach out and how we can fix that. And next 1 hour is going to be, so 2 hours is gone. You can't believe now what I'm telling you. After implementing the CMDB, event management and service mapping for that particular client, the incident count reduced after complete automation based on their requirement. We did it right now, reduced 2 incidents per month, 2 incidents. And earlier, which is taking 2 hours, now that issue will resolve within 30 minutes, which is there the TAT of the client for P1 or P2. Okay, we integrated more than 30 monitoring systems with ServiceNow to give more visibility on each side or each aspect of it, be it infrastructure, be it database, be it storage, be it storage network, be it network devices, be it application performance, everything. But we understand, we realize that is the issue have the customers, which customer want to resolve it. And when we implemented that one, now the things is more mature. We implemented before 6 7 years back. That ITOM is not that much mature, which is as of now. So we implemented, or we created custom tables. We used as much possible out of the box things. We configured, we learned it from documentation, and we configured in that way. And can you realize, because we understand the pain point, we understand how that will work. I hope you're getting it now. So the same CSDM which we want to be like, in simple words, if I say, if we are going to a customer to implement the CSDM, we need to be understand, what is the pain point, why customer wants to be implement CSDM, and how the hierarchy of their services, business services, technical services looks like. And also one more challenge. Now, as a consultant, we need to understand which part is falls in which category or which service or where. Right? This is also one of the more big challenge. Sometimes we feel it's a business service, but actually that is not. That might be an application service or technical service. So we have to be discussed. So before going to that debate or before going to be that, we need to be understand what CSDM, what application service, what business service, what this is a foundation data, what is lifecycle management, what is product table, what is CMDB group, dynamic group, what they are doing. If we get to know, then I think we can easily understand the customer things and we can implement CSDM easily. I hope you are getting it, Arati, now. Any questions, anything, any thought process, what you think, whatever. Because as I already mentioned earlier, CSDM is completely theoretical or logical. Implementation is very easy because what we need to do, we just need to create the records and the specific tables and need to make the relationships correctly. That's it. This is the all about CSDM in simple words, if I say. But understanding, getting the requirement gathering, which is more complex as compared to implementation. Now, any
So,
questions? Yeah.
Ajay, can you tell us, you know, you said basically defining which is a technical service or an application service or business service. That is very critical, right, to
Mhm.
understanding, like to
Mhm.
implementing CSDM correctly.
Mhm.
So, can you give us like a difference between the three?
Huh. So you have to make some patience. If I go down in my slides, you know, there, what is the service difference between all three services, right? I have everything, so that's why I use the white paper only, because that is released by ServiceNow and he's covered almost whatever the required things which I think to be part of the CSDM. And I've already highlighted the things which I just want to be more specific to be discussed, right? So already I've already gone through and understand that one. That's why I'm going to be use that particular one. So you just need to be, I think if I start the CSDM with the business applications, you're not able to do or not able to grab that information. So that's why I started with basic, from when it started, how it started, what is the end goal, what is the use of it, what is the principle. So that's I'm going to be follow slowly and gradually, and that will help you.
Okay.
Okay. So allow me some time. We have 5-6 days for the CSDM only. Definitely we are going to be deep till and end of that sessions we also take a use case, will create relationships in the ServiceNow instance with each and every component, and will showcase you how the reporting will work. Definitely will do that. Okay, so I think let's move what new in the CSDM 4.0. So CSDM 4.0 is evolution of the data model standard that support CMDB framework and foundational object within the Now platform. The more intent of the data model is scalability, automation, and time to value of the Now platform while building upon the effort outlined in the CSDM 3.0 white paper released in 2020. Right? Basically, it reflects updated model, reflecting new additions from the ROM store and mapping the architecture guidance for the service related objects, right? So what they actually release in the 4.0 is they release these new tables, CMDB business service and SDLC component, right? They defined some a couple of new CSDM tables. They define the CSDM domain, build, foundation, sale, consume. They define the location management. They define the lifecycle management. They define the product management. Right now, let me, I think, just to give you one more thing. I have a couple of screenshots with me. This. There is one more. Yeah. I hope you are able to see. The when CSDM from 1.0 is released, now you can see the evaluation. Shit. Oh, it's 2.0. My bad. Shit. Okay. I think let's discuss in that way. So see, CSDM 1.0, we have that information only. Like, we have a table business technical application. We can configure a couple of service offering application infrastructure CIs. We can configure top of the services portfolio, business capability, business application. That's all. But after evolving the time when they introduced 2.0, right, they have designed a proper framework that required while we are implementing or thinking about that, what required. So they designed that they put three things, three domains, basically, if I say the design, manage technical services, and the sale and consume. And I think you can understanding from the name itself, right? Design, we are going to be design the business applications, business capabilities, information objects, right? Then in the sale and consume, we are going to be, who are the consumer of it, how it's going to be help out to them, right? And the technical side, they think about mention about the applications, how that is managing on the infrastructure, technical service offerings, technicals, these things they have defined it, right? In a common data model. If in simple words, if you see my screen, a high level of capability required by the organization to execute its business model, Business application is a purchased or internally developed application used to support a business capability. So in simple word, if I say my business capability, or is my business capability is example attendance or the timesheet you are filling, right? If I have not developed any application related to timesheet on somewhere on application or the portal, is that work? No, right? So, and now if I am not giving the relationship between business capability or business survey applications, are you able to find out which which application means my application might be impacted, the timesheet one, but which are you able to find out which capability is impacted? Right, might be there are a couple of other capabilities running on that application. One is attendance only, a timesheet, might be one is related to your salary slips, might be third is related to your payroll. So if one of the component impacted of the business application, that particular business capability will be impacted, right? But if my complete business application impacted, that all my whole business capabilities will be impacted due to that. Understand, I can feel you're not responding, but that is something theoretical, complete theoretical. We need to understand these particular models or definitions before moving into that, get into more on the CSDM side. Right. So we'll discuss about each and every component of it, right? And that, in common service data model 3.0, just to showcase you again. See, they introduce one more domain, foundation, because they realize if everything is correct, I'm getting the things. I'm able to define the business applications. I'm able to define that consumers or sale consumes. I'm able to define the technical services, but my foundation data is missing. If I don't have who are managing what, who are managing or which user is going to be use it, which company, which department is going to be use that particular, application service or business or whatever, there's no use of it, right? So they define, and even for everything they have different personas, right? So in design phase we have enterprise architect, application owners, they will sit together to discuss and design the business application and other things, right? Foundations, we have process owners, data stewards, product owners, or contract manager. Right, product owners, as you know already, in our when we are working on agile phase, right, agile methods, product owners for each stream is there, right? Change product owner is specifically that focusing on that particular product, right? ITOM product owner or discovery product owner is on those particular things, right? Data stewards who are managing or manage the complete data. Process owners is there who defining the process, right? Like users should logged in or user should be entered in service now with these particular methods, right? Or that particular attribute should be available on that particular user record, right? Contract manager who are managing the contract. If we have managing a contract with couple of other different organizations, like it should be 24 into 7 service or 8 to 5 service, that is a SLA. If that is not going to be matched, we are going to impact. So if that thing is not correct, we are not able to achieve these things. They realize, then they evolve in 3.0. In 4.0 they evolve more, and 5.0 they are evolve more. So they hearing, they understanding the customer requirements, and based on that they are pushing here and modifying the data model to give better, sorry, in simple words, say like to give good, better, and best. Right, we have business consumers, application relationship manager, customer service manager. In here we have application service owners and technology service owners and technology service owners. So there are two different personas basically. That is, one is delivery and one is infrastructure. Are you able to get it something? Are you able to find out the difference of CSDM models and why it is used or required? Is something clear? Now, if you are guys on silent, right?
Kind of
So,
getting clear.
sorry, come again.
It's kind of getting a little clearer.
Kind of getting. That's why, if you heard me correctly, in the first line I mentioned, I also don't like CSDM because that there's nothing to technical. That is all about the theory and the conceptual things which we discuss and we are discussing. And I'm also couple of times going to be, confused when I am thinking about of, the application service, business service, or business application, or whatever those things, right? I'm also going to be confused where we need to be put that particular component. The same, uh, I also, because I'm also ITL v4 certified. So when I'm looking to that customers, their incident management, problem change management, and other things which they implemented, I never find they are following the complete framework or complete guideline of ITIL. Everyone is revolving or using based on their requirements, but just following the out of the box ITIL or framework guidelines or principles. That's it. Apart from that, they are not following the complete procedure of the ITIL. Right. So I hope you are aware about it in ITL. Like we auto incidents closure is there, right? So if incident is resolved after 7 days, auto incident will be resolved, right? Here, ServiceNow users, pupils are configuring on 30 days. Means if resolve incident is resolved today, incident will closed after 30 days. Till within 30 days range, a user can reopen that incident, right? But actual that is 7 days as per the framework or the guidelines. So no one is following that one, but couple of organizations who are strict to that ITL processes, who are strict to that particular informations, right? So that's why that framework and the guidelines designed by that ITL team or here in the CSDM and ServiceNow team, right? So if people are following the correct guidelines, correct principles, correct informations, relationships and all, they will get more visibility, more reporting, and that life is going to be, smooth basically to management side. End of the day, we need to save the cost. This is, I understand, for everything, right? End of the day, we have to automate. End of the day, we provide better service to our customer. Okay, I think let's move to the next things. Why follow the CSDM? That question which you ask, right? ServiceNow product are standardizing their use of the data on the ServiceNow platform. The standard CSDM model which identify what data managed within the service CMDB and related tables, current and future product from ServiceNow that utilize CMDB and related tables may require data to be found in the framework as documented within the white paper. Without this data in prescribed tables, you may not receive the full value of the ServiceNow platform. So in the simple words, if you say why we need to be follow to manage the data within the CMDB and their related tables, right? If the data is not correct, if relationship is not correct, we are not able to achieve that CSDM is implemented. And I heard about that one. Normal CSDM implementation takes at least 1 year. If you want to implement in the simple in good manner, at least 1 year only the CSDM, right? And after that, as evaluation is coming, you have to be modify framework or models, or might be, it's continuous process of improvements. the last, I think, okay, I think that founded on key principles we'll discuss on tomorrow. So we'll discuss, why we will discuss why the what is the key principles of the CSDM, what is the benefit of it, right? How it's going to be help out our day-to-day activities in the ServiceNow side, or how it help to active, or improve the customer experience and their reporting as well. So we'll discuss on that one tomorrow, I think. Now, I think we have 3-4 minutes. Let's discuss what your thoughts on the CSDM side.
Oh, you're asking me?
Anyone.
Yes. Okay.
What do you think, like, and what you want to be learn in the CSDM part? What I think, Arati, you mentioned to me earlier, like, I am interested to know the CSDM. That is all. What you are interested. Let's talk about that. And I think let me prepare some use case around it. I think that will be very useful to get more info.
Honestly, my take would be to learn this, read this document multiple times, make some small notes, kind of thing, and then when customer asks about CMDM, just talk more about it, like as if you know and you've done it. Maybe that is the best thing, because looking at the structure of how it is, I don't think not many people would know much about it. Is what my take is.
Definitely, that is the only thing, because documentation. Why I'm going to be referring the documentation, because you should also got to know what is CSDM and what other things, right? As I mentioned, we'll discuss on the one use case or two use case as well. We'll discuss. Is it's what I feel the CSDM is a debate topic where we can debate and we can put our points. Now let me give an example of one of the implementation when I'm doing the CSDM. So one customer, when we are discussing with the customer mentioned we have a business application. What is the name of it? I think uh, I'm just forgetting the name of that particular application. He mentioned that is business application we are using. Then when we are going to be deep dive to understand what is the use of, means how the business application is going to be used, right? It's an that particular application based, which we can install in our mobiles as well, right? So they are using, and also that one of the part is also available on internet, or on the browser level as well, right? So we understand this is application which is web based as well as mobile application, right? Then we discussed about like what which what how the business application supporting to your end users or your customers or your internal things, right? So he mentioned ki browser is, or sorry, web based application is available for my every end user, right? Or end user means for anyone who can want to be download, they can download, right? But browser one I have just using for in my office purpose, right? So we understand from that one the capability of that particular application is in the two ways. One is internal, one is external, right? Then we also discuss about the business services, right? So how many use case are there, means in simple word, a business services means how many use case is there. So he mentioned about there are three things that onboard the customer, you know, uh, uh, updating or managing the details of the customer, or they whatever the service they provided. I just cannot mention here. So that three things is there, right? So we think about it. There are three services under the one business application and under that one business capability, if I say simple words, right? And now then we also discuss about how that is going to be support, means what where's the infra is that what if, application server, development server, what where it is, right? Then we got to know like these are the things there, and then we started and discussed about the things, small points as well, like foundation side, what is the support group, what is this, so that we are preparing somewhere, right? And we prepared something, one document or one Excel for that, right? now it's we understand, we populate, we discuss with the stakeholders, our confusion and the customer confusion is closed. We what we did, we just simply provide that Excel and ask to, whatever we discussed in that particular format. And I mentioned specifically that particular component will lie in the application service, that particular component lie will in business application, that particular component lie will in our business capabilities. They mentioned, yes, we got to know, and we asked to fill that particular Excel. They come back after 1 week after filling or getting the informations, but they come back to us and we just, it's again, as I mentioned, it's uploading the data in the tables with the relationships, out of the box relationships available here. So we know that business application connect with business capability with XYZ relationships. Business application connect to that application service or business services with XYZ relationship. That is there already out of the box. But to understanding their requirements to filling in the actual sheet is the challenge one. The consulting about the component of the CSDM is the challenge one. Okay, so I think will any questions
So,
before?
Ajay, if
Hmm.
will you be able to give an example of what will, and I don't know if this is the right question to ask, but what will happen if you incorrectly define, something that's maybe a application
Hmm.
service and you define that as like a technical service.
Again, what end of the day, that application business and all other component is logical. Is not like that ki we are getting the name discovery, we are getting the name from the discovery. If name is incorrect, we will that records will be duplicates. That is not that happen, right? But you know if you are defining the incorrect component, that will impact the visibility. In simple words, how that will impact the visibility? Basically, what uh, basically in next things sessions we'll discuss. An application service is nothing. Application service is all about that, service mapping, if I say in simple words, right? How your application is mapping from a entry point to the different infrastructure component. That is all application, right? So you are not configuring the service mapping here. You're not doing that one. You are just, putting a relationships with that business application, right? And if whatever the component or whatever the naming convention used, it's a logical, you can rename it. But the most important thing is the relationships between application, business application or application service. That should not be incorrect. Or you should not, like, it's not like that you created a relationship with application service to technical service. That should not, means whatever they have mentioned out of the box, we should follow only to create relationships between each component. That is important. Putting the naming convention, putting the other things is not that way, means that is not going to impact anything. I hope it helps you.
Yes.
So I think any other questions, Lalit, Harish, are you following me? You are not interactive today.
Harish is
Nothing
quiet.
like that, Ajay. I'm following. Yeah.
Okay. So please feel free to add or mention your questions if you have anything, please.
Sure, sure, Ajay.
Hey, Harish, what's your number, man? Let me try to reach out to you.
I will ping you in Skype, Lalit.
Oh, okay, sure.
Or
Thank
yeah, I'll put it in the
Sure,
chat.
guys. I think he's available on the R group as well, Lalit.
you. Oh,
Yeah,
is okay. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I think we are good for today then, and we'll start principles and other things tomorrow. Meanwhile, be prepare and put your mindset to learn theoretical things, because that is something which also I'm also not feel good, but that is something required now to understand while we are working for the customers, because every customer is asking for CSDM implementations. Till the time, I think, thank you guys. Have a good day. Bye bye. We'll meet you tomorrow at same time.
Sure. Thank you, Ajay. Thank you,
Have a
guys.
good day. Bye bye.